Good evening, and welcome to the Crown Hill Journey. I am your guide on this journey, and I'm also the author of the book. My name is Christina Apt, and I welcome you to this evening's Book 3, Chapter 12. We are rapidly approaching the end of this book. There are 19 chapters in Book 3 that belongs to Meg, who came to the house in 1995. So I'm savoring. I'm trying to make it last and savor this last few chapters of the book. Because you're not reading it in a way that you can go back and refer to things as you want to, I just like to try to give you a little update because I know what's coming and I want to make sure that you're prepared for that. Good evening, Peggy and Janice. Thank you for joining me. So what you need to remember from the last chapter is Meg went back to Jake Kelly and Son to work with Jake Kelly on Monday morning, and it was the beginning of her second full week. And it was after her weekend of finding what she thought was some type of a rabid animal in her shed, but which turned out to be a feral cat with her baby kittens. Hi, Kathleen. Thank you for joining me tonight. And so she called 911 when she thought it was a rabid animal. 911 sent the officer of the day up, and it happened to be Brady Callahan. Brady was very respectful and when he found out it was the cat, said to her, "Those feral cats can be mean, so you were right to do what you did." They had a wonderful exchange. They spent time on the porch sharing iced tea and her blonde brownies, and it was a good experience for both of them, encouraging loving thoughts between the two of them, which made Crown Hill and Mary very happy. The thing that happened on Monday when Meg went back to work at Kelly and Sons was that when she walked in the door, Jake Kelly started giving her the business about calling the police over a mother cat and her kittens. The only thing Meg could imagine was that Brady squealed on her, that Brady went into town and the whole town was laughing at her. And Jake continued to tease her and tease her and tease her relentlessly until she just had enough. And she went home. She left. She said, "I don't feel well." And she explained to him, "I'm not sleeping well. And when I'm awake, my mind is cloudy." What she doesn't know is that is directly because of Mary, who is haunting her dreams and trying to impact her thoughts during the day so that Meg will become aware of Mary, and when the time is right, will help her pass. That's pretty much where we left it. Meg left work. She went home to her porch swing. She and Goldie settled down on the porch. She pulled a cotton blanket over her shoulders and fell asleep. And that's where we left them. So let's return to the porch at Crown Hill. Sip of wine. I hope you have something, that your cup of tea, glass of wine, some water, that you join me, so I'm not just sipping by myself. Glasses, and here we go. Crown Hill, a novel of love, life, and the afterlife. Book 3, Meg, Chapter 12. Meg awoke to the sound of someone calling her name. Opening her eyes, she was unsure of her surroundings. Murky-minded, she inventoried her senses. Sunny. Warm. I'm on the porch. I'm moving. On the porch and moving. I'm on the porch swing. Meg found the familiarity of her whereabouts immediately comforting, although she still had no idea of the day or time. Again, she heard her name called out and realized that she was not in a dream. "Meg! Hey, Meggie girl! You in there?" Meg recognized the voice immediately as Jake Kelly. She couldn't imagine what he was doing at her house. Taking matters under control, Goldie jumped up, started barking, and headed off the porch in the direction of the back door. She would protect Meg and the house from whomever was invading their summer afternoon. Guess I better get up and see what Jake wants before he and Goldie get into some kind of a tussle. Meg threw off the cotton blanket, slid off the swing, and smoothed her wrinkled slacks and blouse. Taking the dining room through the kitchen route, Meg saw the reflection of her sleep-spiked hair in the glass of the book cabinet. Falling asleep on the porch swing definitely did not help one's appearance, she thought, as she tried restoring order to her thick auburn mane. Okay there, little lady, you just take it easy. I ain't hurting nobody or nothing. Meg could hear Goldie vehemently addressing her boss with every step she took. Finally, rounding through the kitchen to the back door, Meg called off her loyal guardian. Goldie, that's enough. Come over here. Pushing on the latch, Meg allowed sufficient space for her retriever to step in and pass by her. In greeting Jake, though, she brought the door to a firm close. Jake, what are you doing here? Well, I wanted to talk to you a minute. Can I come in? Meg's instincts told her to keep her distance from the brawny man. This was her new life in her new home, and as Meg was learning, she had the right to decide who could come in and just how far she would allow them. I'll talk to you right here, Meg replied, stepping outside the door. The snub of not being allowed into Meg's home was not lost on the hard-headed businessman. He knew that he had crossed a line with this woman who had so quickly become a valued part of his world. He needed to make it right with her. Listen, Meg, I'm real sorry about this morning. I was just teasing, and I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. And the way you just left the office, well, I was kind of worried about you. So I came all the way up here to check on you, just to be sure you're okay. Meg could not help her immediate reaction. All this way, Jake? The office is 2 miles from my house. Okay, so it's not far, but still, I left all that work sitting on my desk to come and check on you. And I am apologizing, which doesn't happen very often, I'll have you know. Meg was sure that apologies were not a way of life for the outspoken man, and he did seem contrite and sincere. Apology accepted, Jake. I'm not saying that your behavior was acceptable or excusable, mind you. I'm just saying that I'm willing to let it go, as long as you understand that I won't tolerate that kind of treatment again. Fun is one thing. To pick on someone because they're afraid and trying to do what's right, well, that's just cruel. And I won't allow cruelty in my life anymore. The impact of Meg's words on Jake was visible. His face turned red, and his eyes softened as he spoke in an unusually quiet tone. Geez, Meg, I really am sorry. I didn't think about teasing you like that. I was just happy to see you and thought I was being funny. Really, I'll try not to do it again, but I can't promise nothing. I'll yank your chain again every once in a while, you know. What the hell? Man's got to have a little fun. The childlike innocence of her employer, in contrast with his burly workman's body, brought a smile to Meg's heart. He really was a big teddy bear who just needed somebody to keep him in line. At the moment, that somebody seemed to be Meg. Okay, Jake, why don't you come in? I have some iced tea in the fridge and some brownies that I made the other day. I want to talk to you about something anyway. With the suggestion of food, everything else became irrelevant to the stocky man. Happily, he followed Meg into the house and went directly to the kitchen table. Like a little kid, he pulled up a chair and waited for his promised treat. Cutting a generous slice of dessert and pouring a tall glass of iced tea, Meg sent them both in front of her boss. She then watched in amazement as he devoured the brownie in 3 clean bites. This was someone who clearly did not hit homemade desserts very often. Wow, Meg, them brownies are really something. But they ain't brown, they're tan. So why don't you call them tannies? The question caused the hearty man to laugh out loud, which shook his belly as well. Meg couldn't help but join in Jake's laughter. It also made her realize that no matter how frustrating he might be, she would more than likely always forgive her boss's errant ways. While she was hesitant to admit it, Meg was becoming very fond of Jake Kelly. So, Jake, I want to understand something about living in this town. Why is it that everyone is so busy talking about me And that darn cat in my woodshed. Do they enjoy making it out as if I'm some kind of a fool? Really, I don't understand any of it. Hardly anyone in Eden knows me, so why would they want to purposefully be mean to me? Jake's answer was direct and no nonsense. Now you listen here, Meg. There's something you got to understand about living in a small town like Eden. Everybody does know everybody, whether you met them or not. This ain't no big city where you can move into a neighborhood and nobody knows your name or who you are, and that's a good thing. Meg could not keep her thoughts to herself as she blurted out, I don't think it's such a good thing. I think it's nosy and mean and none of people's business who I am or where I come from, or for that matter, what I do up here. Well, if that's going to be your attitude, then you better plan on moving or spending a lot of time by yourself, because you ain't never going to fit in or be happy here. Meg was completely caught off guard by Jake's tough words. He was right. She had never lived in a small town community. All the same, she had a hard time believing that knowing everyone's business was a trustworthy way of life. Let me explain it to you, Meg. You met Brady Callahan yesterday, right? Meg didn't dare open her mouth in response. She was quite sure that her voice would belie her heart's interest in the handsome widower. Instead, she simply nodded. Now, Brady's growed up in this town, 5th generation. So in his case, pretty near everybody in Eden knows him and all about his life from the time he was running around in diapers. Yet, I'm going to tell you, when his wife and baby died in that car accident, this whole town made Brady their business. They fed him and prayed for him, cleaned his house and mowed his lawn. Hell, Lori Schwab, the nurse over there at Doc O'Grady's office, even went and shaved him and bathed his sweet baby ass in those early days when he was really hurting. A straightforward description created powerful images in Meg's mind. After listening to Brady describe this time in his life, she could clearly imagine all that Jake was recounting. Since those days when Brady was nothing more than a sack of tears, and even as he got to putting his life back together, the people in this town has kept on making him their business. They keep talking about him at the Legion and at church on Sunday and at the Superfine. And they're not talking out of meanness, neither. It's on account of when you live here in Eden, you belong to Eden, plain and simple. Good and bad, right or wrong, don't matter. It's just how it is. Meg knew she had asked for the sermon that Jake was delivering. She just hadn't expected Brady to be part of it. Using the farmer's tragic circumstance as proof of the town's caring nature strongly impacted Meg. So now, let's move on to you, little lady. Yeah, everyone was talking about you and that barn cat yesterday. Why not? It was damn funny. So it was embarrassing. Who cares? It was, what the hell's the difference? We all do dumb things and make mistakes. Don't mean a hill of beans. What does matter is that if anything had really been wrong up here, them people that was talking about you would have been up here helping you, making sure you was okay. Again, Meg had asked for this explanation, but never thought the answer would soften her heart to tears. Thoughtfully, Jake pulled a red bandana hanky out of his back pocket and tenderly dabbed each of her cheeks. In a kindly voice, he continued, You gotta understand, Maggie girl, this whole house has been here longer than a lot of people in this town. It's one of them places people around here grew up playing in and going to parties at, so they feel it belongs to them in a way. It's part of the town and its history. Like I said, you're just going to have to get used to that or leave, 'cause it ain't gonna change. Jake finished his sentence by moving to Meg and gently wrapping her in a comforting hug, the likes of which she had never known. The sense of protective care that Meg felt within this gentle giant's embrace encouraged her to more tears, which turned to laughter upon Jake's final admonishment. And next time you go into town and somebody asks you about your rabid mama cat, you look 'em square in the eye and tell 'em she's just as wild and crazy as ever. And then have a good laugh with 'em. That's all you got to do. Drawn apart with a newfound bond, Meg allowed her heart to speak. Jake Kelly, you are a very special man. Aw, Meg, quit it now. No need to go getting all mushy on me. If you want to be nice, you could slice me up another piece of that tan brownie to take with me. I got to get out of here. Kelly and Sons don't run on its own, you know. And by the way, I ain't paying you for today, and you better be back at your desk tomorrow, on time and ready to work. Meg wrapped up the remaining brownies and gave them to her boss with the guarantee that she would return to work in the morning. And while we're at it, I wasn't late today. Although I have to admit I came close. I'm just not sleeping well. It's been going on for the last week or so. Got a lot of crazy dreams going on when I'm asleep, and sometimes, somehow, even when I'm awake. Jake took a step closer to Meg, appearing very somber. It was an unusual expression for the high-energy man, causing Meg to be unsure of what was coming. You listen to me, little lady. If anything up here makes you feel uncomfortable or gives you the willies, you just call me, and I'll be here to take care of it. What do you mean, Jake? Meg didn't know exactly how to define the willies, but she didn't like the sound of it. There's been a lot of stuff happened up here in this old house over the years, and you hear tell a lot of tales. I'm not saying true or false. Alls I know is some men in this town braver than me been run out of here by something they couldn't explain. Scared the bejesus right out of them. So alls I'm saying is if you're having bad dreams, then maybe you need to have one of them hocus-pocus people up here. Make sure there ain't no evil going around to hurt you. While appreciating her boss's protective attitude, Meg was sure he was going overboard. Oh, for heaven's sakes, Jake, there's no evil in this house. It's a wonderful place. So don't you go scaring me over nothing but a lot of rumor and gossip. It ain't all rumor and gossip, Meggie girl. You need to talk to Clara Johnson if you don't believe me. She's been around here forever, and her family's been a part of Eden for nearly 200 years. She knows this house. Spent a lot of time here growing up with one of her best friends. She'll tell you stories, make the hair stand up on the back of your neck. Clara Johnson. The name sounded familiar, but Meg couldn't place it. It really didn't matter, though, because as she was starting to learn, Jake was often more bluster than truth. Besides, if anything really creepy was going on at Crown Hill, Meg was quite sure she would have realized it. Okay, Jake, time for you to take you and your brownies out of here. I'm still not feeling great, and all your jibber-jabber is exhausting me. Okay, I'm going, but don't you forget what I said. You talk to Clara Johnson. She'll set you straight. Okay, bye-bye, Jake. Meg gently guided the burly man out the door and watched as he climbed in his old pickup and roared out of the driveway. Looking down at Goldie, Meg felt a loving warmth pass between them as the dog gently leaned into her owner's leg. Well, Goldie, this has been quite the day, and it's still not over. I sure am glad that you are here with me. Some days you are the most reliable one in my world. As Meg bent down to scratch behind her favorite pet's ear, a soft breeze came through the screen door, carrying with it the scent of roses from the nearby arbor. The gentle fragrance stayed with Meg as she and Goldie made their way through the kitchen and climbed the back stairs to her bedroom. Time to get out of my dress clothes, Meg thought. There was daylight left and plenty of work to be done. Those rhododendron bushes were still in need of trimming. Perhaps she could get to them in the afternoon. Digging around for work clothes, Meg noticed the scent of roses that she'd enjoyed by the back door within the confines of her closet. That's odd, she reflected. Meg realized that this was not the first time she had noticed a rose fragrance away from the arbor. In fact, now that she thought about it, there were several instances when she could recall the scent lingering, some of which were connected with an odd phenomenon, like catching a glimpse of movement or feeling a presence in the room. Then there was the broken glass in the book cabinet, which, as Meg now recalled, was also followed by a rose scent. How could she have forgotten that? It was the reason she had invited Catherine Winston to lunch, and how she ultimately learned about Mary and Owen Southwick. So what of it? What possible coincidence could there be in drifting scents from flowers growing outside the house? Meg felt confused and ultimately decided that she was not thinking clearly. As she had told Jake, she'd been struggling for a few days and nights with weird imaginings. Maybe she just needed a good night's sleep. Yet, as Meg turned to walk out of the closet, she felt a chill creep up along her spine, followed by the hair raising up on the back of her neck. The sensations reminded her of Jake Kelly's words. "You need to talk to Clara Johnson. She'll tell you stories make the hair stand up on the back of your neck." Okay, Jake. Maybe it would be a good idea to see if Clara Johnson's phone number is in the Eden directory. After all, what could it hurt to talk to her? As Meg became more aware of and connected to Mary, my thoughts became singularly focused on Owen. While I was not aware of his presence within or around me, I had little doubt his spirit lingered. I was troubled by thoughts of Owen's vengeful return into my being, and of Meg filtering into his vindictive awareness. Thus, I turned to Mary. Dear friend, while I do not wish to intrude, I am at a place of concern over Owen's looming spirit. Can you draw near and share with me the specter of his presence? Crown Hill, while I keep your goodness protectively separated from Owen's evil, I will tell you that he remains close enough to be connected to my spirit, but not within you. As when I was his wife, I continue to temper his control by assuring him that his will is my primary concern. And now, with the power of the universe guiding me, I will continue to promote that assurance to Owen as Meg helps me to pass from this world. A pause came into our conversation. After so many years of waiting and wondering and hoping, we each fully realized this moment in time. It was Mary who broached the unspoken question between us. Dearest Crown Hill, tell me, do you have doubts about all that is about to transpire? I wanted to say yes. I wanted to tell Mary that after so many decades together, she would not be happy in any other world. I wanted to impart that she would regret leaving me. I wanted to beg her to stay within me forever. But I did not. Instead, I summoned all of the love within me and enveloped Mary with the sweet scent of her roses. I brought forth the echo of her favorite piano music that she had played so long ago. I wrapped her in the protective embrace of my being. I promised her that I had no doubts and that all would be well. Crown Hill's killing me here. She says this house loves Mary to such an extent, and all Mary wants to do is pass and be free from the really the hell on earth that she has lived in for over 70 years. And she firmly believes Meg is her ticket out. So we have 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 7 chapters left. Oh, so much is going to happen in these next 7 chapters. I look forward to sharing them with you. I look forward to every night at 7:30 now. I hope that you're enjoying this story and the journey. And again, for anyone who's new to this, you are welcome to go to YouTube. I've created a YouTube channel. It's Christina Apt Reads Crown Hill. It won't be hard to find. And all the chapters are there from day 1, where you can read them and follow along. And I post each night the updated chapter. And on the very last day, we will always speak of how you feel. Yeah, Peggy, you're right. This book does strongly speak of how I feel and how I felt living in that house. For anyone who's new and doesn't know, Crown Hill is a house where I actually lived for 20 years in the town of Eden. And the things that went on in that house are documented in this book. So if you go back and follow all the chapters, you'll catch up and you'll be able to enjoy the last 7 chapters that we have. And that will end on the 30th of April. Right now, the plan is on the 1st of April then to join with Candy Donaldson Thornton, who was the medium who helped me be able to write this book. And we are going to do a talk back on the 1st of May that will tell you the story behind the story that I'm reading to you now. So I look forward to all of that. And then there was a 4th book that did not end up being published in this book, and I'm going to read that on the 2nd of May. So we still have a few things to look forward to even into the first few days of May. Thank you for joining me this evening. I hope you have a good evening and that you get a good night's sleep, better than Meg is getting these nights. And I look forward to sharing the Crown Hill journey with you tomorrow night. Same time, same place, same station, as they used to say, but now we're going to say same time, same place, same Facebook location. Have a wonderful evening.